Hey,
Hey, Mar.
give people a couple minutes to get on. Always Monday, so you got to count up what you did over the weekend for our accountability check-in. And we'll get started with that in like 2 minutes. Oops. Tell us how you really feel, Claire. Ignite is open to all KW agents, which is what today is. It's my computer, dog. Apparently was passionate about that ding dong sound. Okay, let's start with the accountability. So you can check in with how many contacts you've made, and that can include the weekend as well. And then if you've gone on any appointments or have any new clients, you can share that as well. Ashlyn, you want to get us started?
Sorry, I'm using my phone this time and I'm like,
No,
how does
no.
this work?
Yep, you're fine.
So this weekend was good. I did an open house. I only did one, just my schedule right now, working nights and then 75 hard. I'm just letting myself do one open house a weekend. Cause if I do two, I literally will be drained.
How was
So
your
I did it.
turnout?
It was, I
Yeah.
think people didn't like that because, well, I did it for somebody else.
Okay.
The HOA has an assessment due.
Okay.
So, lesson learned. But I did get some contacts door knocking that little area. I'm not like super excited if anybody wants to list it because there is an assessment due and it's gonna be hard to find the right buyer. I mean, there is a way to negotiate that, but
Totally can. Yeah, you can negotiate that. I've definitely had no problem selling stuff with assessments too. It just has to be addressed in negotiations.
okay, cool. Cause I was a little what's the word, discouraged from it.
Yeah.
But yeah, I
No.
met some really nice people. I got some good contacts from that and then did some door knocking in other neighborhoods last week. I'm kind of just still on my door knocking role. I like it because I've done the whole prospecting in front of a computer and then you can only talk to so many people and get so distracted doing that because I end up on Facebook Marketplace half the time. So I'm like, let
Oh,
me go
no.
out there. But yeah,
Totally.
it was a good week, good weekend.
Good. Logan, how's business looking for you? Oh, she's on my phone. Perfect. Her updates in the chat. And April, how about you? Allie?
It's going pretty well. I did one open house this weekend. It's usually a price point I don't love doing, but I got like 5 or 6 groups come in and 2 were like very interested. So, that was good. Some are California buyers who came up to look and they're not quite ready. But it sounds like they're going to reach out. And you know, whatever. We'll see what happens, but I felt good about it. About how the open house went. I'm actually doing another one tonight. So I've never done a Monday night one, so we'll see. Um, I don't always love doing the night ones during the week, but we'll kind of see what happens. Um, and I'm doing a first time home buyer class next month. And I met with the insurance agent from Country Financial that we're doing it with. Mostly because he's paying for it for the space, which is great.
Yeah.
But I made some good connections with him and I met with him this morning and so kind of getting some more things in the works with him, networking and all that stuff. Yeah, I don't know. I feel like I've been a little bit all over the place, but I feel like I'm making some pretty good progress.
Great. Good job. And Alex.
I I did this weekend I messaged like over 60 people on Facebook from like friends that I've had.
Just good.
And I got about 2 medium warm leads, I would say, that they said that they're possibly looking, and then my buddy's friend said that his parents were looking. I contacted him yesterday, so I'm gonna follow up today. And that's pretty much what I got out of those 60 people.
Excellent.
But um I haven't really made any calls. I haven't really had any luck with people picking up. And I've had a lot more luck with Facebook for some reason. I don't know if anybody has had luck with Facebook, but people just seem to be messaging me more back than answering the phone. So I kind of stopped doing the like get the number from or get a bunch of numbers and call them. I haven't been doing that cold call. I just been if I do cold call, it's just to my database or people that I know, just because they pick up more. Or like I have a lot of friends on Facebook, so that's where I've been messaging and calling people too.
Yeah, that's good. Meet them where they're interacting because there's no reason to like force it out into a different frame if they're engaging with you on it. So that's great.
Yeah.
Ray, how's business looking for you?
Just did an open house for Terry DeBose. It went well. I was able to speak to 4 buyers,
Excellent.
3 who showed interest, and I got their information, and then 1 that took off with flyers, and then I want to come back around and wait till 4 for the open house. But it went awesome. And then I have 2 open houses for the extravaganza already booked in and are preparing marketing and flyers for those.
Great.
Yeah.
Excellent. Well, today we have Corin Thompson. He is a realtor with Keller Williams Springfield, Eugene and Springfield. He has over 15 years of experience in risk assessment, income and credit analysis, as well as commercial and consumer lending. He enjoys being a resource for his clients and fellow agents in all facets of the real estate experience. He started when he started with Keller Williams through the productivity coaching program, and then has grown to invite his wife into his team and made it into the top 20% in production. So he's on a roll now, clearly living his best life, if you can't tell by his screen background and his shades on.
What are you talking about? I'm really here. What are you talking about? I have sun coming in my window, so I just thought I'd just do the shades in the background so I could pretend I'm here. That's really what
Right?
it is.
It's amazing. Someone else
Yeah.
was doing that. Leslie, I think it was wearing shades the other day when we were on a meeting, and I was like, "This is genius. Why haven't I not thought about this?" So I'm usually just like squinting. So I will let you take it away.
I'm just wholly embracing the fact that I want to go somewhere tropical. Thanks, Mara, for the
Exactly.
introduction. Appreciate it.
Absolutely.
Yeah, like you said, I'm Corin Thompson. The Thompson team, my wife and I, Melissa, we formed a team a couple of years ago. She was in the mortgage lending industry for over 20 years. So she kind of brings that to our team experience. So sounds like all you guys are at least doing something. So plus for that, that's sometimes one of the more challenging things to do is just do something. So who's all been a part of Ignite through like at least more than just this class? Has everybody at least taken a couple of classes? Awesome. Sometimes I start talking about past classes or things that you guys may or may not have learned, and everybody looks at me with a blank face. So that's good. A couple people, and it sounds like you guys are getting out there and being active. So glad to hear that. So today, let me share my screen here. See if I can figure this out. Excellent. I'm assuming you guys are looking at my PowerPoint, hopefully. All right, good. I figured it out. First try. I only practiced 10 times before I pushed play, so it's all good. Let's see here. All right, so today you're going to hopefully learn how to grow your database. I heard a few of you guys talk about, talking to people, getting information. Today, hopefully you're going to figure out kind of how to do that, but also where to put it. So you're actually able to do something with it rather than just having it on a Post-it note that falls behind the desk and costs you 10 grand because you didn't do anything with it. All right. So yeah, learning, like I said, about your database and how it affects your real estate business. Hopefully in the last session, you learned about lead generation. Again, some of you guys are doing that, as well as open houses, which is a part of that. All the leads you gather must go somewhere and stored organized. We have what's lovely referred to as Command, but you can use just about any of them out there. Command is just free for Keller Williams agents. So that's kind of our focus when we're helping you guys get trained. Once your leads and contacts are captured in that database, you can then leverage that to cultivate the relationships, generate new, repeat, hopefully referral business as well. Those are the easiest ones to get, or the best ones to get anyway. All right. Hopefully, by the end of this session, you will be able to identify the key information you will need to put each contact in your database. Determine categories, segments. So we kind of break them up into different categories, so you know that they're either your friends or business partners, that type of thing. And then build your business by just asking, really asking your sphere of influence for referrals. When you first start out, it can be challenging, but if you practice it, it gets easier and easier. Once you feel like you have a value add, I think that's hopefully something you guys have covered at some point or will. If you believe in yourself, it's really easy to ask for referrals. Whoops, that is not the button I want to put. Okay, sorry about that. Use my mouse to scroll through a whole bunch of stuff. Let's consider some of the questions you might ask your database or people that you know. How about you think back what you learned about lead generation the last time? What are some things that you ask to try and get some information or start a conversation with people?
I use the Ford method.
All right. What does Ford stand for, Alex?
Family, occupation, future, and what was the other one? I forgot the
And
D.
recreation is
I usually just go with
recreation.
family.
Yeah.
I usually
And
just go with the
dreams.
first two, and then it kind of gets the ball rolling with family and occupation. I'm like, so what do you do for work, you know? And then
Yeah.
they're like, oh, I do this. What? And then they ask me, and I'm like, oh yeah, I'm a realtor. And then that kind of just usually gets it rolling.
That way, yeah, exactly. I believe it stands for recreation and dreams. I think is what the R and the D stand for. And that's a great way to start a conversation. I think we naturally do that anyway. In a conversation, it's just when you're trying to be the salesperson, having an organic conversation feels like you're trying to be a salesperson first. But if you actually, I've done this before, when you look at some personal conversations just with your friends or whatever, I mean, most of the time, the first thing you ask is, how's your family doing? Like, what's going on, right? Obviously, if you don't know the person, it's a little bit awkward to start that out. But just really any open-ended question. All right. Have you ever thought that your database is your business? With no database, you have no business, is really what it boils down to. The number of names in your database and the relationships you build with the people will determine your success of your business. Hopefully you'll learn today that how you feed and care for your database will turn into a data bank, as we like to refer, from which you'll be able to predictably draw business. Exciting stuff. I think it is anyway. Your database is building up the number of names in it, and relationship with those names is really at the very core of building a real estate business is all about. And that's from Gary Keller. I'm reading a quote on the screen. Hopefully you guys can read as well. So so your lead generation, you got to first look at kind of what the database is and talk about a few ways to add people to your database as you move through your day. Can you think of some ways that you go through your day, not necessarily business oriented, that you run into people that maybe you could say, hey, this might be a business opportunity?
I guess I just look at it as anybody I don't know as a business opportunity.
All right, I like to hear that.
Yeah, usually if you're getting coffee in the morning, if you're wearing like your realtor pin or your realtor shirt, people like to ask about that. Or if you could just talk to the bartender, they always like to talk at Starbucks.
So you go get coffee and then just chat people up either behind or in front of the counter?
Yeah, basically, yeah.
All right. That sounds good. I agree. Anytime, you're right. If you have a pin or a name badge, something like that. Sorry if I'm bouncing around. I think my scroll button is broken here. Sorry, guys. This is where I was at, right? Okay. Sorry. Sorry, you're correct. Yes, as you're going into the I go to, the grocery store sometimes, and people just chat me up, because you're wearing some kind of pin or name badge, or if you have a shirt with your logo on it, sometimes that helps as well. Um, I feel like I'm not where I'm supposed to be. Does this look right for you guys on your end?
It says today's agenda,
Okay.
if that's where you're looking to be.
Yeah, sorry, my screen is looking different than what I think you're looking at. I apologize. Okay. So we'll talk about the database a little bit more in depth. It's really the container that holds the contact information for all your leads and contacts. As we build that database, we distinguish people differently based on the permissions we have to connect with them. So leads are the people who have expressed interest in a service or offering of yours from social media, other marketing platforms or websites. You haven't really established a relationship yet with them necessarily. You just know who they are. You have kind of a one-way contact, I guess you could say, with them. So some of you guys, talked about reaching out via social media, the messenger, until they respond to you. That's really just your friends on Facebook. I know I have a lot of friends that aren't really my friends. They're just people I either met in passing or that type of thing. Contacts are the people you have relationship with. So they know you, you know them, and you have their permission to engage in communication with them. So that's going to be, your sphere of influence. And it's so weird. Sorry. My thing is just very bizarre right now. There we go. Okay. And those sphere of influence are considered your contacts. And these really are your golden egg of your business. Those people are the ones that you want to maintain your relationship and really grow that. Many top agents have very successful businesses working with just their sphere of influence. This is why you focus on that in the system that is Command. Your first task, if you haven't already started it, is to fill your database with your sphere of influence. That way, people you already know, you can start there and just reach out to them. Was it Alex that said that he reached out to some Facebook friends and that kind of stuff? You were having success doing that?
Yeah, I do that on Facebook. It seems pretty easy on there.
Yeah, and that's gonna be people that you already know, and especially if you're new, then people are excited for you. It's a
Yeah,
great time to reach out before. Oh, sorry, you look like you were gonna say something.
sorry about that. No, I accidentally.
You remitted it yourself? All right. Using the model you guys are looking at, where's your database represented? Is it the relationship management or client referral loop, lead generation?
I mean, I think it's in different like phases of all this, like different stages of all of it, right? It just depends like on the contacts that you have within your database.
Yeah, and I think you're right to a certain extent for sure. I think relationship management is kind of just the core of it, I guess you could say. And then depending on what you do with that, it could be either the client referral loop or the lead generation piece of things. Cultivate contacts is really where you're trying to get. So the leads and the contacts are going to be in the relationship management, and then what you do with that is going to be the next step down there. So yeah, your database is all about the relationships management. The relationships you build and develop will grow your business through new, repeat, or referral business. And your database, again, is key to your business and does a lot for you. Keeps you organized, so you run your business effectively and efficiently. Database keeps a comprehensive record of communication and the relationship through systemized communication. So when you start out, you might only have 15, 20 people in there, right? You probably know them all, so you're going to remember all that conversation that you've had with them in the past. But keeping all the records of every conversation you have when you start growing your database up to 500 people or whatever it ends up being, it's a lot harder to start remembering all 500 contacts in each conversation you had with them. So learning early to systematize things, even if they're just your friends and family, it's very important. It also helps automate some other tasks. So you could just literally send out, either a monthly email or some other stuff through command. So you don't have to manually do that. Again, that helps you scale your business as you get more and more people in there. Also, well-maintained database holds value and potentially could be sold when you either choose to get out of the business or retire. If you truly have a solid database that you work and generate business from, you can actually just sell it and say, hey, I've got a whole bunch of contacts. People will buy that when you look to retire, or again, just get out of the business if that's where you decide to go. And like I kind of alluded to earlier, an organized and smart database beats the notepad or the Post-it note that you might just throw on your desk or put on your desk or your car dashboard or something like that. You've learned that in Command, Command is a smart database that KW makes available to you. How many of you have gotten into Command already? Anybody else? All right, we got a couple
Yes.
high fives. All right, all of us, hopefully. Perfect, excellent. So it's a database of names and contact information, like the contacts in your phone. So that's a great way for you to start getting contacts if you haven't already done that. And as well as a lot more information. There's also goal trackers. You enter the goals for yourself either every month or year. And as long as you keep inputting information into it, it will track that for you. So you can tell every day, you can go in there and say, oh, I need to make this many more calls, or I need to close this many more deals this month in order to get back on track. Task Manager to track all the things you're committed to completing in lead generation and transaction management. Marketing suite of newsletters, postcards, and other mailers, presentations, and social media posts. So you can actually create all that stuff within Command as well. It also has a referral network for other agents in other areas, also across the United States. Basically, anybody that's Keller Williams agent is technically in there. It's not necessarily used a ton, but it is a possibility for you to connect with an agent if you have something that you could refer to in, let's say, Portland, if you don't cover that, or Eugene, if you're from Portland. Command is ever evolving. So when I started back in the day, it was pretty new. It's come a long way in the last so many years. So it's a good idea. Just get it started. It's a free tool for you as well.
Corin, I got a question.
I got an answer. Hopefully it matches.
Well, how's your Command been built like over the years now? Like, what are you doing differently that's working out for your team?
So yeah, we really focused when I first started. I'm gonna be first to admit I sucked at it. I was terrible. I I was the post-it note guy, or the, I put in my phone in the notes section, and then, every once in a while, a week later or whatever, I'd be like, oh, that's right, I was supposed to call that person. So admittedly, I lost business because I didn't use a database. But especially, that's one of the reasons that I brought my wife onto the team, is she is much better at that than I am, as far as being disciplined. So when I go on an appointment, I bring either the business card or the contact or whatever it is back to her essentially and say, hey, this needs to be put in there, and they're going to be a potential buyer, so flag them for that. This is how I met them, blah, 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 right?
Yeah.
I do it on occasion on myself. You can do it on the app as well, which I do, so I don't forget sometimes, at least put their name in there. And then when I get back, I kind of update all the notes and everything like that. So I just got in the habit of doing it.
What are the helpful like tools or habits that you bring with you to like open houses to generate more leads?
Can you help me understand exactly what you're asking on that one?
Aside from Command, like I've seen some of the other brokers, like they'll bring in like their own forms of marketing, and they're bringing in flyers. They're setting up beforehand, like talking to people, or even staging the spaces. Like,
Yeah. So if it's your listing, obviously you're very familiar with it. You can definitely, what that
Yeah.
looks like. But if you're doing it for somebody else, for open houses specifically, I try and preview it so I know exactly where it's at. But as far as Command is concerned, there is a way to create the flyers within Command, if you don't already have a separate software that does that for you. It takes a little bit to get used to, if you haven't tried it yet. They work pretty well,
Yeah.
but you can do a pretty basic flyer for it. But I do the flyer. If I'm going to do an open house specifically, I'm going to do, look at the neighborhood and watch it, as far as what other similar listings are. So I have more marketing material to share with people that come in, maybe aren't interested with that specific house. That's kind of getting off the database piece of things, but were you asking just how you market that type of thing through Command?
Yeah. Do
Okay.
you have a way to manage that, or like, because I know some of the other brokers are just like setting out a specific number of cards and then keeping track of that to input it into like how much of their information is going out into the world.
Yeah, I mean, depending on what your size of your
Yeah.
database, you can send out, you can set it up so it sends out either social media posts automatically, or you
Yeah.
could set up where they're actual mailers that get mailed out. So you can send the actual like postcards. You can get that all designed and get that sent out. And you can flag it within Command as far as how often that happens. And you just automatically get that set up per client that you flag for whatever specific type of.
Are you and your wife using the Twilio system then?
We do not use Twilio. That's more of a texting thing, that I believe.
Yeah.
And we don't do the automatic texting, if that's the service that you're talking about.
Yeah.
Because it doesn't come from your cell phone. It comes from another phone number. And most
Right.
people just
Lock those.
yeah, they just ignore it. So I don't
Yeah.
find that beneficial, although it is dirt cheap. It's
Yeah.
super cheap to do that. So great question, though. Hopefully that kind of answered it a little
Yeah.
bit. We'll
I
move
appreciate
forward, and we
you.
might get a little bit more information, like how to do that, as we go through this a little bit more. So I think the most important things for you guys to remember are to build it first, feed it every day. So add at least one name every single day. And if maybe something you can think of for yourself is, if I haven't fed my business, I need to go start making some phone calls to other people, or go walk around the mall until I run into somebody that looks friendly and go ask them if they know anybody that wants to buy or sell. I mean, whatever you're comfortable with. What I'm saying is just feed it something every day. Because if you have one contact a day and you add one every day for a year, how many are you going to end up at the end of the year with? It's zero. If you add one every day for a year, how many are you going to have?
365.
I
Thank
thought you
you,
meant
thank
one
you.
for the whole year. I'm sorry.
No, you add one every day, it becomes 365. So what I'm saying is small steps will get you there.
Yeah.
And then communicate in a systematic way, and that's part of what we'll talk a little bit more as we get through this. And that's kind of I think what you were trying to ask, Ray, maybe a little bit. And then service all the leads that come your way. So even I think somebody mentioned that they were maybe a little bit discouraged by some of the potential leads that they got because they may or may not pan out. Try not to ever assume that they won't, because I've had some weird ones that ended up working out that I thought for sure would never work out. So while sometimes this business can be discouraging, don't add to it with your own discouragement of your own abilities. So we talked about a little bit. Do you have anything? Ahas is my favorite thing to talk about. I'm being a little bit sarcastic just because the ahas we use a lot. So do you have anything from the first little bit that we talked about? You guys have been asking questions, so that's been great. All right. As we talked about before, first law is to build your database. You've already doing this through Ignite, through the phone calls you've been making, conversations you have been having, and the other success system activities. And of course, like I said before, we recommend Command as your database because it's available at no extra cost. It's powerful and it's ever evolving. You like how they're touting themselves there. That's really good. It's true though. It is really good. It's a lot better than when I first started. How about that? So some of the things that you're going to need to put in there. First names to put in your database is your sphere of influence, like we talked before. That's going to be your family, friends, coworkers, people you encounter regularly, etc. Anybody else you think of that might not care if they're getting a text or a phone call or an email from you. Basic set of information that you should be gathering from each person. At the most basic level, each contact in your database should have what you see on the screen there, a name, a contact information, so either one or more of a phone, email, or physical address. And then any past record of either business or like how you know them or why they're in your database. Because again, as you grow it, you're going to forget how you met this person, and then you're going to be like, why is this person in my database? And then you have to do a whole bunch of research and legwork. If you just put it in as you put it in, you'll remember. There are several ways to add your contact to Command for the first time. If you haven't already got it started, I think everybody said they've done it, but you can go to answers.kw.com and search for Ignite reference guide, and that'll kind of help you get through it if you haven't or you forget. What else might be from your contacts besides, of course, the way what they're called and how to contact them?
Email.
Yeah, that's definitely a good idea. That's one of the contact information, but that's definitely is a good thing to have.
There are likes and dislikes and anecdotes to personalize the contacts with them. So it's not always like, hey, you still interested in moving? But like, hey, this thing you like is coming up, football season's coming up, stuff like that.
Nice. That's great. I love it. Yeah. Anything else?
Talk money. You're not
Talk
talking
money?
money. You're losing people. Like I don't know. I feel so already accustomed to talking to people about money and just being like, what's the affordability you have right now within like renting? They can give me a certain price and I'll be like, the home you're like looking at today is pretty close or similar to what you're paying right now for rent. Like,
right.
Here's a flyer. Like, I get some information on that. I've always liked talking about money because I feel like talking about money up front with people brings the wall down.
Sure.
Like, yeah.
So you just go right for it, Ray. You just say, how much can you afford? Let's buy a house.
No, not so impactful. I go through them with Ford, and then I realize, hey, if everything you could dream of to move forward within the space, like, what do you pay for rent? What are you doing dynamically within your life that's making you so successful and you have a career, you're looking at moving. I just put it all together at that point.
Okay, so maybe you start if it's a very like intro conversation. Maybe start with, do you own or rent? Would be a good question
Yeah.
for that. Yes, no, all of those great. Anybody else have another thing that you guys can think of another thing that we all have once a year that is exclusive to us, but we may share with other.
Birthday.
Yay, there you go. All right, sorry, I was wondering how many feeds I could do that before I got an answer. Yeah, birthdays are always good because then that's another touch, right? If you have a phone number, you can text or call on their birthday. You can do social media posts with your friends, you know, that kind of stuff. So that's another really good one. Someone taught me one time a trick to do that. Once you're in the phase of like actually doing like a buyer's consultation or a seller's consultation, and you're basically ready to sign a document, or whenever you feel comfortable with. But if you're going to meet someone for the first time, we're professionals and we have to present ourselves that way. People are very accustomed to handing over their identification in a professional setting. So if you're in a business, you know, if you're in a buyer's consultation or a listing consultation, and you say, hey, can I have a copy of your driver's license for my file? Because, you know, the government requires us to document that you are who you say you are, and I need to know who I do business with. And you can use that or whatever you want to do to get a copy. You don't even have to go that far. Most of the time, people are like, sure, you're a professional. Here's my driver's license. Take a copy or a photo of that has their birth date on it. It also has their physical address and their legal name, which you will all need when you do business with them. All right. So here's kind of a snapshot of Command. Again, you guys are fairly familiar with it, but it makes it easy to build your database and your contacts manually in either Command or the Command app. Download the app if you haven't already. It's not quite as robust as the actual computer version, but you can do a lot with it. You can do a couple different ways. You can sync contacts with Command from third-party systems like Google Contacts if you have an Android phone, or iCloud, iPhone contacts, or whatever variation of phone or how you store that. You can import contacts into Command using the Command import template or an import export template from another system. And then you can easily add personal details to each contact. You have the ability to add notes about your communication with them and personalize each with tags. It comes with several built-in tags with the option to customize your own. So it has kind of the default whatever it's got, and then you can say, oh, this is a special one that this is exclusive to this client. I want to add a note to that. So I can show you how to do it, but it sounds like most of you guys have done it. Do you want me to go through real quick and show you how to enter a contact in Command? Anybody? Okay. So you can go to Command Your Database if you guys are connected. I'm assuming you're on Connect. And then if you go under Technology or go to answers.kw.com and search for our Ignite reference guide, and I'll give you kind of how to do it if you forget. Any of those things that we know? Okay, good. Just ask questions as we go along. I'll skip the ahas. The second law is to feed your database. I like what we talked before, right? Just add 1 or 2 per day, and you'll build your database into something that actually is going to make your money. Can you think of a way how you would build your database outside of your initial contact list in your phone? It's kind of 2 specific ways we use these. Some people think interchangeable, but they mean different things. Prospecting and marketing. So there's marketing, which is going to be you're paying kind of for an ad. You're out there trying to get people to come into you. Prospecting is more targeted for an area or specifics that you're trying to find. All right. This is about adding people to your database. First, you add all the people you know, your sphere of influence, and the people you encounter regularly. You add your dentist, your child's teachers, your coworkers, and people you know from the neighborhood. So if you haven't done that, go there, start there, add more. The rest of your feed comes from lead generating. Open house is a good way for new realtors to start. So to clarify a little bit more, prospecting is actively seeking leads and building relationships through your conversations. Prospecting is a cost-effective way, and you're able to directly hear if and when the person is able, ready, and willing to do business. Marketing is more passive. You can build your database pretty economically by asking everyone you know who they know and who might benefit from your services or may have an immediate real estate need. Hopefully you learned earlier that many top agents run highly productive businesses based solely on their sphere. Your sphere is your source of new, repeat, and referral business. This was the client and referral loop of the database model. New business comes when someone in your sphere begins thinking about buying or selling, and they think of you. Repeat business comes from the clients you've helped in the past who were so pleased with the service and experience you provided that they ask you for you again. Referral business comes from clients who have used you before or know of your stellar service and recommend you to people in their sphere. All three of those are key. Who can you think of in your sphere that that they would refer to you? So if you're going to call your friend, like who would be some people they might think of to refer to you that they know?
I mean, their friends and family, they would refer them to us if they knew anyone.
Perfect. Excellent. Neighbors, if they're older, maybe they have children that are getting ready to buy, or maybe their parents, any relatives. How do you ensure that your sphere will actually refer you?
I think just by staying in contact and making sure that they know you sell real estate. Otherwise, if they don't know you sell real estate, they won't be able to refer you.
That's great. Yeah, don't be a secret agent, as I like to say anyway. You're a real estate agent, not a secret agent. What's another way that they will know to refer you, or maybe will refer you? You maybe instigate this a little bit more. So you know they know that you are a realtor. Do you ever ask for a referral? It's a good idea to get in the habit of doing that pretty much anytime you talk to anybody about real estate. Figure a comfortable way out to ask for a referral. If you're having a more serious conversation about it and they say, "Oh, I'm not really interested right now." Great. Who would you know that maybe I could talk to? If they say no one, then that's great. You can dig a little deeper too. Also, it's important to explain how you receive referrals. How are they going to share referral with you? Find a good way that works for you that's successful. I will let you know that, sure, give them my contact information. Works for me 20% of the time. But hey, why don't you warm connect us over a text or email, and then I'll take it from there. And I promise I won't spam their email or anything like that. If they're not interested, I'll be done. But if you connect us warmly, then a lot more times they receive my information a lot better, and I'm here to help them. It's a much better way than, sure, give them my name and phone number. It's just like that Post-it note that you do with your contact information. If you do that, they're going to take your card or your information and either throw it away or oops, they lost it, and now they're going to go find the next person that actually calls them. Also sharing how important it is to you for a referral. That's the lifeblood of my company. That's if I don't get referrals and repeat business, I don't have a business. So you as my friend or my family, I would really love it and appreciate it if you would think of me if anybody ever says the word real estate or anything like that. And also thanking them. Get in the habit of at the very least sending them a text that says, "Thank you, I closed the deal with this person that you referred to me." But it's better to get in the habit of rewarding the behavior, not the result. What I mean by that is someone shares, "Hey, here's so and so's phone number and name, and they mentioned that they may want real estate. I was thinking of you. Here's their contact information. Send them a $5 gift card, or whatever you can afford. Just even a handwritten thank you note that says, "Thank you so much. This means a ton to me." You're rewarding that behavior, not the result. Not that you actually closed the deal, but that you are that they're thinking of you. All right. There are other ways you can feed your database. Encourage people you know to write a testimonial about you or a review. It's a great way to get started to get reviews on Google when you're first starting. Is just ask people that you either know or work with, just to do something, even something small. Is like, "Hey, this is a really nice person." When you post these on social media, you can do that through your agent site on command, or in any form of marketing. You may attract leads. People see that you're active, people like you, so they want to like you as well. You can offer an item of value related to real estate on social media, and they have to opt in to receive it, so they give you their information. It could be just a real estate update in a certain market area, or which actually a lot of these are already kind of templated in command. You may see a lot of them on your social media feed already if you're on there. So raise your hand or say "I" if you have somebody that you're thinking of right now that would write a testimonial or review if they haven't already. All right, excellent. So reach out to them. When you ask for business contact for a review, and then ask for offer to reciprocate. So if it's somebody that's in some type of a profession that would care about that, maybe offer to write them one first and say, "Hey, Mr. or Mrs. Inspector that I use on my buying clients, I love your business and I absolutely would write you a review. Would you do me a favor and write me one in return?" It helps both both out, and you get to offer first, and then they reciprocate, and you look like the lead because you're taking charge and saying, "Hey, I want to help you out first." But yeah, focus on your sphere first, since they are your cheerleaders. Even though you may not have closed a transaction, or may only be working towards your first few, you can still leverage those testimonials and reviews. It's a great way when you're first starting out. And don't forget to continue to do that after you become more and more successful. So here's some areas that you can ask for specifically instead of just a generic, kind of give them an idea of what maybe you're looking for. Because if you call your mom or dad and say, "Hey, write me a review," that might not be what you're trying to put on your professional page. So maybe be a little bit specific on what you're looking for, and here's some ideas for that. All right. So now I know I asked earlier if you had anybody. Now I want you to actually write down 5 names of people that you're gonna contact for a review. And if they're a business associate of yours, or you're looking to do that, you can reciprocate or ask first. So I'll give you a couple minutes to do that. All right. So hopefully you got at least a couple on there, or at least pretended like you picked up a piece of paper and a pen, or typed it on your computer. That's cool. So besides social media, where are some other places that you might leverage these testimonials, maybe in the physical world?
I'm part of my kids' PTO, and I do a lot of work, like community outreach and fundraising and giving back to the teachers and stuff. So I'd probably tap PTO, whether it's the teachers, other parents.
Fantastic. You just like print one out and I mean, do you do like mailers or handouts and stuff? Is that what you mean?
Um, I wear my shirt to all of our meetings. I'm pretty new, so I'm starting really gently with making connection and not making it about me, but I'm definitely doing some like stealth marketing to get my name out there. And then for the rest of the school's pretty small, so
Okay.
also tapping all the rest of the other parents as well beyond PTO. So I'm starting with a personal connection and we're
Yeah,
building towards it.
that's great. That's great. Build a solid foundation. You can grow from there. Yeah. Anybody else think of anywhere else that we might use these testimonials or reviews? I heard a lot of you guys talking about doing these on the weekends, or someone's doing it tonight.
I live downtown, so I just talk to the business owners and let them know I'm a
Nice.
small business myself. I
Okay.
do tech and billing support and know how to run business to business tools and systems. So I just do, hey, I'll help you out in this. Shout out my name. Here's some flyers. Here's my info.
Nice. Okay. Excellent.
Simple.
Another thing that you can bring to open houses is what I was alluding to, because a lot of you guys do those, is when you get testimonials, especially if it's related to buying or selling specifically. But even if it's just their attention to detail is amazing, their professionalism is 5-star. Print those out in whatever delicate way that you feel comfortable. I mean, you could do a big poster if you want, or you could splash your face all over it, or you could just do words. But put those strategically around the house, so people will see either your face and or what that comment was. And then they just subliminally will see that and maybe ask you, oh wow, that's a great review. I've never had somebody do that, but they do look at it. I've seen them pick it up and read it. So even if they're like, oh my God, that's like totally self-serving, it still is like they're talking about, they want to know that you're a professional, right? Very few people are going to say that, oh my gosh, that guy's crazy. Why would he ever put that up here?
Yeah.
All right. The third law is to, did you have something else, Ray?
No, just a little something I learned from Terry. She doesn't
What's
put
that?
open house on her flyers. She puts just listed.
Oh, okay. Nice. Nice.
Yeah.
As long as
And then-
that's accurate, I would agree with that.
Yeah, I guess.
But it
I'm
does
all like,
give
I'm
people
gonna start
more
doing
attention.
that more for flyers, so I don't just put out open house,
Right, right. Yeah, with the reviews and stuff, I usually just have kind of my whatever 5 or 10 that I have that I kind of cycle through, that I carry to every single open house and I reuse them. So I'll put them on the counter and then I'll pick them up when I'm done. But the flyer for a specific house, obviously you can only use it once if it has the time and the date. All right. So the third lot is communicate with your database. Hopefully you learned about the importance of relationship in real estate, along with the different ways you can communicate with your database, called touches. We touch our clients, and communicating with your database will be accomplished through those touches, and we'll pair those with meaningful, relevant, and timely information. All right. To succeed at a high level in real estate sales, you must commit to frequent contact with the database with the intent of building close relationships. So it's not just a one and done, hi, I talked to you for 5 minutes. Now I know for the rest of my life and your life, you're going to use me as your realtor. That's not how it works. So basically what this quote is saying is you must commit to frequent contact. How long must you commit to building those relationships? And it is for you actually have to forever be in contact with these people, especially in today's world where we have an overabundance of realtors. You don't talk to them for, I believe, last stat I heard, people forget about you about every 3 weeks. So and it's probably more frequent than that if you just met them, they'll probably forget you tomorrow. But even if you know them, about every 3 weeks, they're going to forget who you are. And the first person that walks up within that 3 week period or right after that 3 week period, they're going to be the one that they're going to conduct business with, not you. So follow up. The way you communicate with a database will depend on whether it's with leads or contacts. Remember that in Ignite, we are focused on our attention on relationship building and strengthening with our contacts. Our sphere, those whom we have permission to have two-way conversations with. As you establish and build relationships and learn more about a person's motivations, dreams, interests, and goals, you will categorize or segment people into common interests so that everyone is receiving communication that matters to them. Information that is meaningful and feels personal is information that they're more likely to respond to. Who gets 100 emails in their email box every single day, at least? And do you look at every single one of those, of course, because they're all relevant, right? No. Don't be one of those 100 emails. Ashlyn, what do you got?
I was actually just thinking today about the amount. Sorry, I'm driving, so if it sounds weird, my bad. But I was just thinking today about all the time and effort I've put into like Canva and creating a cutesy little email. And I was thinking about what emails I actually open, and it's the ones that are just self-typed, like the people that are updating me on the market, like the other mortgage brokers I know and that kind of stuff. Those are the emails I actually open. So I had an epiphany today that I'm just going to start self-typing everything. I feel like
Nice.
they're more convenient.
Now, when you said subtype, is that what you said?
No, like self-type. Like I don't need to make a
Oh,
cute little
self-type.
flyer and put it
Okay,
into a
okay.
system and email it
Yeah,
out, you know?
Yeah. So yeah, if you've been in this industry at all, you probably get emails from lenders or other real estate professionals. Who knows it's the first day of fall yesterday? I think it was yesterday. I mean, did that email help you out? Did you forget? It's okay to do that as kind of a gentle touch, but most people don't really care that it's the first day of fall. So yeah, if you personalize it, they're going to pay a lot more attention. But as you scale your business, it's important to be able to relevantly communicate with. That's what command is for.
Well, I was gonna say, like, kind of to Ashlyn's point, there's like a difference between transactional emails and marketing emails, which is where the, like fun, fancy ones come in Canva. But you can
Mhm.
also do the self-type personalized ones and still blast them out that make them look
Yeah.
like they're more personalized, which kind of gives you the ability to mass send it and make it more personalized without having to actually type out 100
Yeah,
to people.
exactly. Some of the ways to designate that, and I think that's kind of the point of this is to be able to communicate with a larger group of people that is relevant. So I think Ray was talking about earlier, he just gets right into the meat and potatoes and says, dude, let's buy it. You're wasting money renting. Like, but are you going to communicate the same way with a renter as you are with an existing homeowner? Hopefully not, right? Because they're in different stages in their life. So if you blast out, oh my gosh, you're wasting money renting to all these homeowners, that just look like you're just blasting out emails to everybody. So just be relevant to what that specific contact is about. Okay, let's see. So like we were just talking about, people are more likely to respond when the information you send and communicate directly impacts them. It's important to purposefully segment your database so the target message appeals to them. Keep in mind that this is not set in stone. It is flexible and will change as your database and your relationships grow and develop. So if at one time they're a renter and then become a homeowner, switch them into the different category, because if you keep blasting with the renters after you bought them, they're going to think you're an idiot for continuing to not remember that you helped them buy a house. Also, people may belong in multiple segments. So what you're looking at here, maybe they're, you know, a military person, ex-military or current military, and they want to be an investor. But you got somebody else that you know, you get referrals from, or is a referral. And I think Ali mentioned earlier some things that they actually care about. So dog lovers, maybe they really love their dogs. They're basically kids for them. So what are some other ways maybe you can think of that you could segment in a broad sense or a more specific sense when you're segmenting your database? No wrong answers. Except for nothing. No way that you categorize your friends, your family, anybody?
I just do it on my phone. To be honest with you, it's like,
Is that your database, is your phone?
well, yeah, my database ended up being my phone because I can upload it now to Command. And then since I have an Android, it's able to categorize each individual person by groups.
Oh, nice. Okay.
So
That's pretty cool. So
that's
you
how
actually,
that's how I
so
keep it
what are
going.
some what are some categories or tags or whatever you call them on your phone that you do before you upload them into Command?
Well, I wanted to call the name of my business Tracktown Real Estate. So it's all like Tracktown Mortgage Solutions, Tracktown
Oh, gosh.
Realtors. Yeah. Something catchy to keep me like looped in and like staying motivated to adding more people to it.
Mm-hmm.
And that's
So
how I like to categorize them.
okay, so you put your how does that transfer to Command as a category that you're going to send people things?
Because it notes it for me, and then on Command I can just make sure that I'm categorizing it individually.
Okay.
It sends just a full contact.
Okay.
Samsung. I don't know what else to say. It's Samsung magic.
No, you're good. So just to remember when you're tagging things, sometimes if you get too far into the weeds, you're only gonna have one of those people. You know, so just make sure you kind of try and keep it a little bit general, because when you're trying to create those fancy flyers, hopefully you're sending it more than 5 people, right? You're gonna send it to maybe 100 people, or you know, once you grow your database. So don't go too segmented. Make sure you keep them general enough that you can put more than one person into it. Otherwise, it gets a little bit convoluted when you go to try to send things out. The messaging to the segment should be relevant to likes, dislikes, interests, or based on past interactions with you. Even though the words and topics of your messaging will change, there are some things that will remain consistent no matter what segment you are communicating with. Your messaging would be such things as matches the motivation of that segment. So like we talked about, renters versus buyers, uncovers if they are able, ready, and willing, and the time frame they are looking to do business in includes to call to action. So if they're a now 0 to 3 months, or if they're 2 years plus, those are going to be different types of communications in some instances. So and elicits an immediate response. So if you need to call them versus just put them on a drip campaign email, every couple of weeks, you want to make sure that you're categorizing that. And then tells the person receiving the message how to contact you, and helps them know why they would choose to contact you in the current market, what they get if they do. Your messaging basically needs a method, a way to be communicated. When communicating with your database, this will come from your targeted marketing, also known as your touch campaigns, which we will dig deep into the lead follow-up segment. Deeper into, excuse me. All right. When you communicate, regardless of the message, segment, or touch, you always pair that communication with value. So going back to just creating those flashy things that just look cool, what are they getting out of it? Like I mentioned earlier, nobody cares it's the first day of fall, or it's Labor Day, or it's whatever it is. Everybody knows those days come up. My favorite is the daylight savings time. 99.9% of us have some type of a smart device that updates automatically. So we don't really, other than we're going to go home in the dark and leave in the dark when we actually go to work, assuming we work at normal hours. Let's see here. Some items of value might be items like market statistics. Someone mentioned that earlier. So seasonal prep checklists for homeowners, as long as they're relevant and are maybe legit. Don't just make something up. There are statistics out there that maybe people can look at this because they always forget, that type of thing. Hey, it's spring, make sure you open your vents, type of thing. Real estate forecasting data, schedule of local events and festivals. We do a monthly newsletter that we email out to our people, to our sphere. That's kind of has basically that rest of that month. If we send it out on the 15th, we've got the next 2 weeks of that month that say, here's some local events. And we usually get a couple people every month to say, oh, that's really cool, I didn't even know that existed. So it doesn't take much time to literally go on wherever, Facebook, and go, what are the events coming up in the next couple of weeks? All right, and you can set these touches up through smart plans and command, and then use the designs like we were talking about to create direct mail and social media campaigns to keep in touch. Have everybody seen smart plans? Does everybody know what those are? Getting some head nods.
Yeah.
Okay, you guys feel good about those, or do you want to
They're pretty
learn?
cool.
Yeah, they're really cool. There's a lot of them. There's a whole bunch of them out there. I would just there's some like default like KW made ones, and then there's some agent made ones. Look for the reviews underneath the agent made ones to make sure they work or people have used them, because some people create one and then nobody ever uses it and it's just still out there, and may not actually be something that has been proven, I guess you could say. Well, hopefully you see now how the database can become a data bank when you can continually communicate matters of importance to recipients. What naturally happens as you build relationship and continually show value? Hopefully they choose to do business with you.
Yeah.
That's what we're after, right, guys? Is like we talked about, don't do just a hi and then never see them again or never talk to them again. What would naturally happen when you build a database, consistently feed it, but neglect to talk to people? We kind of already covered this, but what do you think would happen if you just didn't talk to anybody?
Your business would go nowhere.
Mhm.
Yeah, you got a whole bunch of information, but you ain't making any money. Basically wasted your time lead generating and putting your contacts in the database. You're doing all this work, but there's no guarantee that these people will ever think of you for real estate, right? You're not putting any deposit in your bank. You did all this work, you opened the account, you said, this is great, I'm going to save all this money, and then you just never put part of your paycheck in the actual bank, right? This is a data bank because for a reason. The more you feed it, the more interest you're going to earn on that, and the more you touch base with people, the better it's going to be for you. One of the most important communications you can make throughout the year is a personal phone call, and a good kind of rule of thumb is 4 calls per person in your database per year. So basically once every 3 months or once a quarter, just literally pick up the phone and say, hi, you got one built in, right? I talked about it earlier. Everybody has one. It's usually a happy occasion. Just give them a call and say, happy birthday, I was just thinking of you, I hope you have a great day. You can do it on social media. It's not quite as impactful, but if you actually have a 2-minute conversation and say, hey, birthday, I just want to say, hey. All right. The final law is to service all the leads that come your way. This will come in the form of a strong lead follow-up program, which we will get into on day 10 of Ignite. I have no clue what that actually means, but hopefully you'll know what day 10 means. Since you'll be getting all the details then, we'll just get started on the basics. Your job is to build a community and serve the community. It's not your database is not only a container of information, it's your business. Gary Keller thinks of it this way: my job is to connect with you, put you in my database, and be your realtor for life. He thinks of his database as a community that he serves, and he adds the size of your community is determined by you. It's a great reminder that real estate is a relationship business. So if you don't like talking to people, I highly recommend finding a different line of work. All right, servicing your leads is a big part of the building your community. Why do you think it's important to provide service to all the leads? Lead not followed
Stay
up.
top of mind.
Yes,
Yeah.
thank you. That's perfect. I was going to read this really long, drawn out sentence that they have for me right here, but that summarizes it perfectly. If you don't talk to them, somebody else will. Guarantee it. So it's important to service all the leads. So you can know the source. Knowing how the lead was generated will be important for calculating a return on investment for your prospecting and marketing methods. So as you start doing more and more of one or both, you spend how many hours doing open houses, and you have no clue how many actual leads you get from those. Then you're just sitting there working really hard, but not doing anything for your business. So tracking that and going, hey, I did 2 open houses this weekend and 2 open houses on Monday, and I got way more leads on Monday versus Saturday. I'm going to start doing open houses on Monday, right? When you start building that information, you'll know where that's coming from, and you can actually start pigeonholing your business a little bit, or focusing your business rather. Track the relationship. You will use your database to track conversations, interactions, and etc. related to the transaction and relationship that helps to ensure your customers are serviced and converted into clients. So again, as you grow your business, you have 1,000 contacts. You're not going to remember those 1,000 conversations for the next couple months. When you call them back, you're going to be like, oh crap, what did I talk to this person about? And again, remind you, reward referrals. Follow up with and reward the client who referred the new lead. That's a very important thing. Like I said, it could even just be a personal phone call. Thank you so much. I talked to your referral. They seem really nice. I'm hoping I can, help them with their real estate needs. It sounds like we have a good start. And as a reminder, like I said, reward the act, not the result, because it encourages them to continue to give you leads. All right, Command makes it easy to service all the people in your database with whatever the need is. You may follow up by adding more to the contact record, update your tasks, launch additional smart plans, manage your referrals, and design all sorts of marketing materials as your website. So we talked about earlier the opportunity, or the kind of your goals and stuff. This is kind of what you have going and what you see on your screen here. Is it in the cultivate? Is it an appointment, active, under contract, and then hopefully eventually closed? Right, so that's how the Command will help you do all that stuff. It's also a way you get paid, and hopefully you know how to do that. If you don't, then at some point you'll close the transaction and learn how you get paid, but Command is a way to do that. So the consumer tab is where you make all those fancy schmancy website things, or social media stuff. And again, there's help for all this on Connect. If you haven't gone on Connect, it's a great resource for you to kind of watch some videos specific to whatever it is that you're trying to learn that day, or relearn. I find I don't do something for a month or two, and then I go, how the heck am I supposed to do that? So I go back, and it's a great resource. And then command your transactions. So it'll give you instructions on how to command, which we just looked at before, or answers.kw.com and Ignite resource. All right. So the 4 laws are: build a database, feed it every day, communicate systematically, service all the leads. We have to say it, learn it, and then repeat it. That's classes work, right? If you all are teachers, that's how we all do things to help you remember it. You say it 3 times, right? All right. So are you all ready to turn your database into a data bank? All right. You feel good about it? All right. So you got all the tools, or hopefully some of them anyway. You hopefully understand the value. And you just every day, but just feed it. Find ways to find new people to put it into it. Go out and meet new people, host open houses. And don't not do something because you're afraid that you're not doing it right. Just leave you to that, I guess. There you go. Don't get discouraged if your database is not immediately yielding the results you expect. You know, I'm sure you've heard what you do today will pay off in 90 days. Right. So if you're doing a whole bunch of stuff today and then 2 weeks later, you're like, God, I'm not getting any business. Keep going. It'll come. As long as you're doing something every single day, you will see it. And then also, you know, as you're building your database, it starts out small, but again, like I said earlier, 1 every day will get you to 365. You multiply that by 3, you're over 1,000 contacts just in 3 years, right? And that's a pretty significant amount. Even if you're just making a phone call to them once every 3 months, that's going to take you a lot of time, right? So you got to be able to systematically increase that. And if you continue to stick with it, it will continue to grow. Let's see here. Statistically, everybody moves, or on average, people move every 7 to 10 years. That used to be every 4 to 6 years, I believe. But the last few years, it's increased a bit. So just because you start today and don't have somebody in your database that's active, if you stick with it long enough, they will become an active client if you stay in touch with them. I know 7 to 10 years seems daunting, but you're doing it with everybody else that's active. Why not with the people that will eventually be your business? So you don't have to have the ebbs and flows. I think the most important thing is come from care. Don't get commission breath. You know, that I don't know if you guys know what that means, but it basically is I have to have this sale. I don't care about you. I know all the facts and I'll tell them to you, but don't tell me about your dog or your, you know, your grandkids, or I don't care about that. I just want to get you into a house. Come on, let's go look at houses. Don't do that. Because people do business with the people they know and they like and they trust. So if you get all 3 of those, especially with a new lead, it will eventually turn into business. It's the trust factor is huge. Sometimes don't take for face value what people tell you, may not be actually what they mean. So dig in deeper. All right. Anything important that you want to talk about? My ahas to achievement? Gonna change anything? No, Ray's doing magical work already. He doesn't need to change anything. All right. So I think that's pretty much it. Let's hear. Yeah. Oh, you got your 10 conversations, contacts, handwritten notes. That's another important one. People a lot of times forget and disregard. Most people get a boatload of emails like we talked about. Very few people get handwritten notes. Especially as a newer agent, you don't have a lot going on. Just take an hour or 2 or whatever it is, 5 minutes, write a thank you note to somebody. Even if it's, hey, I was thinking of you today. I haven't talked to you in a while. I just wanted to say hi. Write it though. Don't text it. People will appreciate that. That comes from genuine touch as opposed to, hi, I thought about you today. Will you sell your house with me, please? Oh yeah, I got to tell you this. Don't call the people that are on the do not call list. I don't know. Hopefully you're not doing that. All right, that's pretty much all I got, guys. I'm happy to hang out for another half an hour or whatever it is that we're supposed to be on here. Answer questions either related or unrelated to this topic specifically. So shoot, you got me for another half an hour if you want. Otherwise, we can go out and enjoy, the beach behind me. I'm gonna see if it turned real while I was talking to you guys.
I got nothing.
So you can actually see people now. I'm so glad they chopped these down to like 2 hours or an hour and a half. They used to be 3 hours. That was.
Well, I
You can
guess
add-
I guess one thing I could do, it's like I noticed that I didn't have my review set up correctly for Google reviews. I
You
gotta
did
go
not
fix
have
that.
them set up?
I didn't have them set up correctly because I never linked the website.
Oops.
Whoops.
Yeah, yeah. So people write you reviews, you want them to show, that's for sure.
Yeah.
Well, hopefully you guys go out and have fun. I think it was Allie. Good luck with your open house today for the first time on a Monday. We've tried to. It really depends on the area. If it's near a school, right after school gets out or right before school gets out, you experiment. If you find something that works, stick with it until it doesn't. I would encourage you to do that. That's for sure, and then add to it. But once you figured out it works, but open houses don't have to always be Saturday, Sunday. I prefer not to work on the weekends if I can help it, but that's the industry we choose, right?
Yeah.
Cool. Excellent. Well, if you guys ever have any, somebody said, I'm sorry. Ashlyn said I don't know how long ago it was. I couldn't see the chat, so I apologize if there was something, Ashlyn, that you wanted to clarify.
Nope, I was just putting my hand down after I realized it was up for a long time.
Oh, okay. Okay. Yeah, I'm always available if you have questions. I'm here in Eugene, Springfield. I don't know if all of you guys are down here. But happy to see you in the office. I think at least Allie and Ray I've seen in the office, I believe. I can't see Ashlyn's face, so I don't really know. But if you guys are in Eugene, Springfield, hopefully see you in there. It's a great way to meet other agents. And it never hurts to know who they are, what they look like, because eventually one of us is going to be sitting across the desk from each other on a transaction. And if we already know each other, we don't have to learn each other personality as we're trying to go through a transaction, whether or not we can trust that they know what the heck they're talking about. So never hurts to say hi to, even if they're your competitor. We're all on the same team here at KW. I'm always willing to help. So again, thanks, guys. If you guys don't have anything else, I'll let you go. I can ramble on like nobody's business, so it's up to you if we stay here for another half an hour.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
All right, guys.
Thank you.
Have a good rest of your day.
You too.
Thank you.